So this morning I've been in to visit our local butcher, Wayne Barker, and this is what I bought. The beautiful lamb shoulder. And considering we're in Oberon and it's lamb country, I thought today I'd show you my slow braised lamb with preserved lemon and pea. Now I'm going to butcher this lamb shoulder into about 4 by 4 pieces. I do it quite chunky because it will cook down, and see all those fatty bits? I leave them on because it's flavour and it really does bring in a lot of succulence into the dish and flavour as well. This is kind of a cheats way of searing the lamb or the beef when you're doing a slow braise. This is what we do in a commercial kitchen. We put our oven on really hot, like 200 or 220, and pop the meat in a baking dish, a little bit of olive oil, pepper, and plenty of salt. Okay, then into the oven for 10 minutes. So while the lamb's in the oven, we're going to get on with the sauce. So I need a couple of tablespoons of olive oil and a couple of cloves of garlic. I use garlic in everything. I'm a real garlic girl. In with the garlic, onion, just one, couple of carrots. You know, I never peel my carrots. I think there's a lot of goodness on the outside, just nice and chunky. And celery. Celery brings so much depth of flavour. Just cut those daggy ends off. Nice rough chop. Little stir. Couple of bay leaves, and here we go with the aromatics. So this is really what the basis and the base notes of the dish, and how we're going to layer upon layer with the flavour. So a few peppercorns, say a teaspoon of chilli, but you don't need to put that in if you're very sensitive to chilli, or you can always put a little bit more if you love it. Cinnamon, and 2 teaspoons of turmeric. We'll just cook that out a little bit more. We'll add the tomato paste. It's going to thicken the sauce nicely. And then we have to cook that out for a couple of minutes. And that's another good tip when you're cooking with tomato paste, that you really need to cook it out. And I think the lamb should be ready now. And whenever I do this oven technique of that hot sear, you always get some lovely juices coming from the meat. Well, we never let that go to waste. We always put it in the pot as well. See, those bits are quite chunky. That's how we like it. And they will cook down and break down. But you don't want to cut your meat too small, because when you're braising for 1.5 to 2 hours, you know, we don't want it to be disintegrating down. You want to really feel that you've got nice big chunks of meat in there. And those lovely juices. Some water, because you want to take the water just over the top of the lamb. Now we're going to add the magic ingredient, the preserved lemon. So these have been under salt now for a year. Most people say to take the flesh and just use the skin, but you know what? I just chuck it all in. I don't want to waste any bit of this. And then our peas. I just use frozen peas. So we're going to let that tick along for 1.5 hours. lamb has been cooking for an hour and a half, maybe even pushing to 2. So now we're going to turn it into the pot pie. Just going to fill these little ramekins, and here we have our FILO pastry. I'm going to take one little piece and 50 grams of butter, and spread the butter over the FILO. Then I'm going to fold in half, some more butter, fold in half again, and then just pop on the top, and just tuck the pastry into the side of the dish. And we'll go again. And now for something super funky. I'm going to take a sheet and I'm going to go scrunch onto the top. And then an Essington Park egg. Give that a little whisk. And I just prefer to use egg on the top when I'm baking pastry because it just gives a lovely shine. And a sprinkle of sesame because they toast up really beautifully. And maybe a little garnish of fresh bay from the garden. And then onto a baking tray. I've got my oven set on 180. It's all ready to go. We're just going to pop these in for about 20 minutes. And there they are, my beautiful slow braised spring lamb, preserved lemon and pea pot pies with a perky green salad. Now that is food from the heart.